We first met him as the kid brother to Jack and Bobby, and yet Edward, Teddy, was the survivor. The one we watched grow old, evolve into the patriarch, and struggle with the challenge and burden of carrying the Kennedy torch. Edward Moore Kennedy was born February 22, 1932, the last of Joe and Rose Kennedy's 9 children. His first prominent role in the family business of politics came at age 30. JFK was elected president, and Teddy kept his Senate seat in the family.
The President of the United States is dead.
He was 31 when he said goodbye to Jack. 5 years later, in 1968, another assassination, another goodbye. Bobby this time. Often invoking his brothers, Ted Kennedy turned to make his mark in the Senate in the 60s and 70s, a proud liberal, champion of voting rights and civil rights. In 1980, he set his sights on the White House, but perhaps the most haunting of his personal demons, Chappaquiddick, 11 years earlier, would block his path.
I regard as indefensible the fact that I did not report the accident to the police immediately.
In 1969, Kennedy drove his car off the Chappaquiddick Bridge. Mary Jo Kopechne, a former aide to brother Robert, drowned. Ted Kennedy fled the scene. It was a character stain he could not overcome. He would lose his bid to beat President Carter, but he promised to carry on in one of his most famous speeches.
The work goes on, the cause endures, the hope still lives, and the dream shall never die.
He would not be president, but he would master the Senate and make his mark on government policy.
If we really care about work, about families, about children, and the future, we will vote for an increase in the minimum wage for all workers.
Fighting for workers' rights, leading on education and health care reform.
It is morally right. It's what this nation is all about.
And immigration reform.
Si se puede.
I've described Ted Kennedy as the last lion in the Senate. Held that view because he remains the single most effective member of the Senate if you want to get results.
To get those results, liberal Kennedy learned the art of compromise, sometimes angering fellow Democrats by partnering with ardent conservatives.
Even though we fight each other most of the time, and those are knockdown, drag-out battles, I have to say there are very few people in my lifetime that I've had more respect and now reverence for than Senator Kennedy.
All too often it fell to Uncle Teddy, the patriarch, to steer the family through trials and tragedy. The death of Jackie Onassis, a more painful goodbye to JFK Jr., and the dreams of Camelot. His hunch and shuffle, the legacy of a brush with death in the 1960s, a plane crash that broke his back and caused constant pain. He brought some pain on himself. Dogged by too much drinking, a messy divorce, Kennedy was frequent fodder for tabloids. But he remarried, carried on, added to his policy accomplishments.
I've come to admire him. He's a smart, capable senator. You want him on your side, I can tell you that.
And he stepped once again into presidential politics, bypassing Hillary Clinton and hearkening back to Brother Jack's call for a new generation of leadership.
I'm proud to stand with them here today and offer my help, offer my voice, offer my energy, my commitment to make Barack Obama the next president of the United States.
Just 5 months later, he had a seizure, followed by a grim diagnosis, a malignant brain tumor. Still, with great drama, he made it to the Democratic Convention to pass the torch.
The hope rises again, and the dream lives on.
He ignored his doctors and, when needed, came back to his beloved Senate.
I look forward to being a part of the team.
And made a dramatic appearance at a White House summit on health care reform.
I'm looking forward to being a foot soldier in this undertaking, and this time we will not fail. Thank you very much. How are you?
He never stopped looking forward and never lost that trademark smile. To the end, the survivor. Dana Bash, CNN, Washington.